Greetings War Thunderers, it's Longshot with you again, and welcome to another of my up-tiering videos. Today I'm looking at the I-301, a noted biplane clubber, and I'm going to take it right outside its comfort zone. Now for those of you who may be unfamiliar with the I-301, it's a Tier 1 plane, battle rating of 2.3, it's a premium, but you can't buy it. It was made available during an event back in January 2015. If you didn't get it during that event, you can't get it until they make it available again. I was lucky enough to get it after just the third day of the event, which was very fortunate for me. Anyway, it's a Lag 3 prototype. It has incredible firepower in the nose, much more so than any other Lag 3. It rolls better than a Lag, it has a better rudder than a Lag, it doesn't lock up at high speed as much as a Lag. Its climbing rate, its engine power is about the same. So that pretty much describes the plane, which is an excellent boom and zoomer, and as I said in the intro, a wonderful clubber of biplanes. And if you looked at my stats, you'd think that's what I've been doing, with 24 kills per death, around 6 kills per flyout, and far more kills in this plane than I have in any other. In fact, I ran up 400 kills yeah, shooting biplanes in the 2 weeks after I got the plane. I just didn't feel like flying anything else because I was a bit jaded with War Thunder at the time. But since then I've been flying it up tiered to around 3.0, 3.3. But for the purpose of this video, that's not far enough. So I decided to take it right up to a battle rating of 4.0 with this lineup, also with a tier 3 plane or two in there, just to make sure it sees some really decent competition and make it a real challenge to see what the plane can do against some opponents that really outclass it in every single way. And hopefully that'll put to bed some of the rather scurrilous accusations that have been levelled at me in the forums now and then. Okay, so let's go to battle. Okay, what have we got up first? An air domination. And looking at the planes that are in this battle, there's some 3.7s, I think there's a Yak 3, so there's a 4.0, but that's as high as it goes. So my lineup on paper is towards the top of the matchmaking. However, obviously this plane is not towards the top of the matchmaking, being a tier 1 to 2.3. I've side climbed. That's the only thing you can do in this plane when you need to get up to altitude, because it is a slow climber, has that in common with all the Lags. But once it's up here, it boom and zooms like an absolute champion, because it has great energy retention in a shallow zoom climb. And to start off with, that Fokker 190 is already being attacked, but I have a 109 climbing directly underneath me, and that's an obvious first target. So into the dive, and we'll see as this guy tries to turn underneath me how well the down pitch, the elevators when you need to pitch down, work. There's a really good authority on this plane. Enabled me to follow that target far better than I would have in many other planes. However, I didn't get the kill. Tiffy's on his tail, threatening to steal it. But the 109 is going to roll to the left, and the Tiffy with its poor roll rate cannot follow. And that gives me another shot. And again, the down pitch shows its strength there, as I could follow him down and finish him off. And if you're wondering just how good the 20mm cannon is on this, along with the bank of machine guns, it has a burst mass almost as good as a Yak 9T. And that should tell you all you need to know about what this plane can do if you get guns on target. Okay, that Tiffy's not climbing, but the P400 behind him is. And as long as I have altitude supremacy up here, I can just keep farming kills after kills after kills after kills. Oh, you'll note in these battles, by the way, I'm not flying in a squad. The previous vid I made in this series on the Henkel 112A0 was in a squad, and that's been used, I think, to maybe discredit some of what I might have done in the plane. So yeah, I decided to fly this solo. Nevertheless, there is obviously, when I get this kind of altitude advantage, I can basically seal club, and it really wouldn't matter what plane I was in. There were some interesting points in this battle. Here's a situation where I have a climbing KR-44 beneath me, although he does turn to dive. So looking at the other planes coming in, there's a climbing KR-45, a climbing Yak 9. Out to the left is a Stuka, which I checked to make sure, and yes, it's a D3, not a D5, so I haven't got to worry about him. So I've got the 45 beneath me, and in front of him is the Yak 9 you can see in the bottom corner of my screen now. So I'm diving on the 45 first, giving him time to stall out, and then I can go straight onto the Yak 9 who's trying to turn back to face me, and he doesn't get a chance to do so. And also in the process I attracted attention from another climber, a Yak-1, and I can just rudder turn to get above him, and the rudder on this plane is sweet as, and just hang above, just waiting for him to stall, and there he goes, his nose drops, he's completely out of control, and before he can get any kind of speed back up, I've let him have a burst of 23 mil. Now there's a bunch of bombers spawned in, and by the time I headed back after reloading, a very interesting situation. It developed. A B-25 has a Junkers 88 and a SB-2M on its tail. He set the Junkers alight, and I'm going to finish off the SB-2M, but I'm also looking at the top of the screen at that Yak-9 that's climbing. I want to transition straight onto him after finishing off this bomber. Okay, I'm expecting him to go head on, and I'm intending to snap roll out of the way the moment I get any hint at his opening fire, but he doesn't open fire. I'm not lucky enough to land a hit, but because he's deciding to elevate a turn out of a split S or a dive kind of thing there, and I'm able to rudder turn over the top of the loop, and I turn far sharper than he did, and that gave me a very easy kill. Then we have a TBF. Now I could easily go head on with him, except that would expose me to his twin 50 cals, and that's not a good idea. Not when I can just lift up into a gentle climb, keeping my speed high. He will stall out. I hang a little bit long in this climb. I should have been rudder turning over already, and that gave him a half chance to get away. But he was a bit slow. He could have gone to a dive and didn't do so, and as a result I'm able to rudder over, and that's an easy kill now. No point taking head-ons if you can get the kill the other way without any exposure to an enemy's guns. Now I did actually expose myself to the same pilot in a TBF again, in a head-on, because I was getting a bit lazy, as I was with this 109. I intended to hit him in a head-on and then snap roll, but I forgot about the snap rolling part. I just got sucked into the head-on, and as you can see, we've set each other alight, and that's going to be a kill either way. So I've blotted my copybook there, and that's one thing with this plane. You can get a bit head-on crazy because of its hitting power, all with its central cannon and machine guns, but it can die just the same as any other plane can. So yeah, that's 10 lazy kills up at altitude, enough to more kills than anyone else got in the battle. And that wasn't the only time I've done that. Here's the one on the desert coast. I only went for 10 minutes, but 9 kills, in which Gaijin very, very generously gave me some kind of Russian tank as a talisman. Thank you, Gaijin. And yeah, again, way on top of the leaderboard. Would have been a lot more if the battle had gone on for any longer. So I'm not really having any trouble with this plane. Here's a 15 kill game, again on an air domination, and it was even more full of clubbing than the last one I just showed you. Lots of Wellingtons met their death in this battle. So I could show that, but how much would it actually be telling you? It's much more interesting, I think, to show battles where I was actually more under the pump, like this domination game. It's not much point just getting an altitude advantage in this and hanging up at 3,000–4,000 meters and looking to boom and zoom people from up there. Not in this plane. You need to get involved lower down. But even so, I still did climb at the start, headed towards their bomber spawn sort of area, hoping for a few cheap and easy kills. But as you can see, I've got a Spitfire, a Yak-3 and a P-47 for company up here. And what's worse, the P-47, his name's Kolok, is heading towards me as I speak. And I'm going to have to engage him because I can't possibly hope to outrun him. So this time I'm going to go for the head-on, and then I will actually snap roll, as I should have done against the BF-109 in the last battle, and then hopefully engage him in a turn fight. Okay, didn't land a shot, and if I was in a Chaika, I'd have him here and now. He would be dead, but I'm not in a Chaika, so I don't have guns on target, and he's not going to continue the turn fight. He's going to dive away. And unfortunately in doing that I lost track of the Yak-3, who I knew was heading toward me. And I've taken a few extra seconds than I should to find his whereabouts, and there he is, and I'm rather lucky to still be in the air. So I'm immediately down into an evasive dive, snap rolling as I go, and I'm heading straight down into their spawn of incoming fighters, which is not a good place to be diving to, not at all. But what can I do? I've got a Yak-3 on my tail, and I don't want to make myself an easy kill for him to just pick me off, so yep, he's still after me. I have to continue the evasive dive. But I want to obviously get to friendly territory as quick as I can, and if on the way a Beaufighter presents himself as an easy target, who am I to say no? Okay, first kill in this game, but I'm still not out of trouble, taking quite a bit of damage, but it hasn't really affected my flight characteristics in the least. Probably because the left wing doesn't have a hole in it yet. Okay, so now I'm down to just one plane on my tail, and I should be able to start a dogfight. Here we go. Bit of a snap roll first, and then into a hard left brake. And yep, I've shaken him. What's more, he has quite a bit of company on his tail now, including a 0, and he's not going to survive that. So as soon as he's set on fire, there he is. I can forget about him and onto this Spitfire. And he's lucky to survive that. I just took off the edge of his wing and then he immediately crashed into someone, so no kill there. I've picked up an A6M2N, but fortunately he's also immediately taken straight out. So after that I needed to take a bit of a breather and just get my breath back and work out how I was going to next engage in this battle. Managed to get out of that fairly okay, even with a kill. But yeah, that wasn't what I envisaged at the start of the battle. I was hoping for a few easy bomber takedowns to begin the game. Wasn't to be. Okay, I've got a Spitfire coming in. If possible, I want to intercept him, obviously without him attacking me. But looks like he's coming for me. I'm going to have to take on the head-on. But here again, I get sucked into a longer head-on than I should have. And although the KI-43 gets the kill, not me, I've taken quite a bit of extra damage there. Yeah, plane's pretty beat up now, but it's still ticking along pretty good. So I'm continuing the dive, looking at either the Spitfire or the P-51. 51's flying away from me. There's no one else coming in, so I'm free to take a shot at the Spit. And there we go. That's a pretty safe kill, and I can extend out. And that's going to be my strategy in this game. I'm basically flying it as if I was flying a stock Tier 4 plane. Up against everyone else who's faster than me. Who can basically outperform me in pretty much every way. So I'm just trying to snipe in from the side, get a few kills when no one's looking, and get out again to safety and see how often I can repeat that tactic. Okay, so it's regaining a bit of altitude. I'm just going to pause here and watch how this unfolds. Okay, I've got a 109, think about going for him, but he's got a big queue of planes on his tail, and yeah, he doesn't last long. It's a climbing Spit I've got to be careful of, but he's busy with an OS2U. Bunch of planes incoming, and I start to get a bit nervous in case that 190 in particular picks me out as a target, because I'm a bit isolated here. So I just pull out and watch. Okay, he's got company. Now I've got a Gladiator who looks like he's going for the cap. What else would you do in a Gladiator in this battle? P-63 who is helicoptered. He's going to come down, and I can get a nice shot at him right here. Yep, and then drop straight down onto the Gladi. Come on. There we go. That's 4 kills, the last 3 of which have been completely without risk, because I've timed the attack well enough to get in and out before any fresh enemies arrived with enough speed to intercept me. And of course there's been other friendlies in the area too, so that I haven't really presented as an obvious target. The question is how long that can continue. Now I can see 2 planes have isolated themselves here. There's a Hurricane and the Yak-9. And there doesn't appear to be any other enemies incoming, although I should have checked for longer than what I did, as you'll see. But I decided I can take both these guys out. It shouldn't be hard. There goes the Hurricane, then straight onto the tail of the Yak. I just had a perfect attack angle on both of them. But here's where I should have checked immediately on my 6 before moving, and I didn't. And I've set myself up for an easy kill for the Focke-Wulf 190A1. Such is life. But still 6 kills, that wasn't bad. But this game had me shaking, literally shaking by the end of it. In this one there are Focke-Wulf 190 D9s, Doras. So that's Tier 4, that's a battle rating of 5.0. That's about as up-tiered with my current lineup as I can get. And I'm going to climb out to the side here. I'm looking for the easiest kills first, which are against bombers who are heading for our cargo ships. Of course I've got to be there first and get there before anyone else on my team is doing the same thing. And I've also got to look for any kind of climbing fighters who might be looking to intercept and cover the bombers. That I-185 in particular I'm rather nervous of. But no, he's hanging back, so I should be safe to engage. So we've got this B-7A2 who's already been intercepted and is diving away, so he's not a great target. Well, he's also got company from the KO-102, but the B-25 looks quite promising. But unfortunately I don't lead by quite enough, so I only get a hit where really that should have been a kill. Another second of guns on target and he would have been gone. So that's one that got away. I think of following him, then I see the Stuka at lower altitude behind, so after making sure there's still no fighters incoming, I can loop straight over and drop down on him from above, hopefully without him noticing. But he does notice, and he pulls a very hard brake to the left. And I only get a glancing blow, and then a bit of recoil takes the nose below, so I have to let him go. But straight onto the P-47 here, and again my gunnery's off. Maybe it was just getting a bit late at night or something, I don't know. I'm thinking, okay, I'm out of cannon, I'm going to finish him off with machine guns. Someone else will get to him first, there's another blue dot in the area. But then he jumps out of his plane. So one kill out of the potential 3. I can't help but feeling at least one, the B-25 got away there. Nevertheless, okay, now the enemy has high altitude control by the looks of things. There's a 109 up there, an I-185 and a P-51. So I'm going to keep my eyes out, at least for a little while, to make sure that I'm not boom and zoomed. But given how high they are, the chances are they're just going to fly around up there and do nothing at all. So after a little while I can see that everyone's heading for a bit of a furball at the other end of the island, so that's where I'm going. Got to go where the kills are. But it doesn't hurt to keep checking on those higher planes and on the incoming newly spawned planes as well. Just got to continue looking around as I start my attack run. Now I'm thinking of going for the A6M3 if he's still alive when I get there. No one's picking me up yet. Okay, I'm just about in range. I can turn to attack him. He's busy on the tail of the KO-102. Almost certainly won't have seen me. And that'll do it. Okay, break off him. Bunch of other targets furballing away over here. See who I can pick up. And if this IL-2 doesn't want to go head on, he's dropping. Hasn't seen me. So that's a very easy kill there too. And I take a bit of a shot at this J2M, but his fire kills him before I get there, and I'm under fire myself. Been picked up by a P-63. Got a bit tunnel vision there. Of course he's got so much speed, he can't hang with me as I go into a sharp break and then a rolling turn. And I'm going to get a very easy kill here from the reversal. Except a Spitfire gets it first. Oh well. Can't get them all. Alright, time to get out of here and reload. Just trying to gain a bit of altitude back. Doesn't appear to be as many enemies higher up now. They've all either given up and dived away or been shot down, who knows. But I've got to watch that queue of incoming planes, because I'm a bit vulnerable here. I'm not particularly fast and I'm not particularly high. Indeed, the I-185 is coming for me, and that's the pilot of the IL-2 that I just shot down. He's out for revenge. Now obviously he's got a ton more speed than me. I can't hope to evade. I'm going to a split S, and then I'm going to pull sharply to the side, and that's enough to get me well and truly out of his guns. Into a roll there, and he's overshot. And I've got enough energy to loop with him. I-185s are really good interceptors. They're like Focke-Wulf 190s in many ways. They are not good turn fighters. And that's what he's trying to do in this plane, and it's not going to work out. But I'm taking a bit longer than I expected to get guns on him. I'm hitting up elevator and rudder for all it's worth. So I bring in the combat flaps, and that's enough to get the job done. And fortunately, no one else intercepted me while all that was happening, and no friendlies came and took the kill. So I'm up to 4. And I take a bit of a wrong turn here. I thought, okay, sure there's going to be more bombers heading out the other side of the battle, so that's the way I head. I go into a bit of a dive and run over that way, but when I got there was no one there. So I eventually had to turn around and come back, so I lost a bit of time then. Okay. So I'm still at lower altitude than I'd like, but I'm trying to maximize my speed here. And I feel that if I climbed, I'd just separate myself from the other friendlies and make myself a target. Okay, good chance on the 400 here. He's ducking and weaving a bit, I can't quite line him up. But I should have him now. And once again, I'm just a fraction of a second too late. It's just like flying a Tier 4 stock plane. Late on every single kill. And oh, it's my friend. He's back in an IL-2. He's definitely heading for me there. But he couldn't get through the cloud of friendlies. What a pity. Wonder how often he's going to keep trying that tactic throughout the battle. Okay, a bit more of a fur ball forming off to the right there. That looks like the place to be. Gotta keep such a close eye on the incomings. They can be on you in no time without altitude advantage and the speed they have. Okay, so into a gentle dive. Increases my closing time, hopefully makes me less attractive as a target or obvious as a target. Spitfire's down, that just leaves the Yak-9. Looks like that IL-2 player's coming for me again. Okay, if the Yak doesn't see me here, he's dancing with the Tiffy, then I should be able to get a nice intercept kill. Yep, here we go. No problem. Time to get out of dodge. Okay, yep, the IL-2 player's trying to close me down. This isn't really a great direction to be flying in. I want to be heading back towards friendly territory. So I think of just extending away and then starting to turn that way. But then the P-51 decides to turn towards me as well, and he's closing very quickly. So he's got a real speed advantage on me at the moment. Okay, so I'm not going to outrun him. Yeah, I'm into a bit of a dive, and the reason is I'm just delaying the time it takes for him to get to me, and that takes me further and further away from the IL-2. If possible, I want to deal with them in isolation, if I can, which means I'll need to kill that P-51 very quickly if I manage to actually evade his guns, and that's far easier said than done. He has 4 Hispanos, so this is not going to be easy at all from this angle. But I'm going to need to start doing something soon because he will have the lead indicator and he's going to open fire. Okay, so up into a hard brake and then roll a bit and then another hard brake, and hopefully that's enough. I take a glancing blow, but I'm still good. Now if I thought I would have engaged combat flaps and maybe cut my engine there, and I might have had a shot at him. But I didn't, so I didn't get the shot. Now I'm having to snap roll to avoid the IL-2. And I know the P-51 will be coming back for another turn. And I'll pause it there because here I made a big mistake. On the overhead map you can see, or the radar map, another blue dot. Someone else is coming in and they're about to kill the IL-2 very quickly, and I didn't see it. If I had, I would have engaged the P-51 and had a shot at him. As it was, I found myself climbing straight up in the sky in 2 minds as to what to do, and that gave the P-51 a shot at me, and I lost a wing. Ah well, can't get it right all the time. Anyway, that was the only reason I did this, because it was a great challenge and it was a lot of fun. So that's why I wanted to share this with you. So how did I actually go over the course of the 7 battles? Well, here's the stats beforehand and here's the stats afterwards. As you can see, I'm actually running nearly 7 kills a battle, which is better than what I was doing before, although my KDR is perhaps a bit higher. So the plane can... I don't know, I haven't found any problems flying the plane at this kind of battle rating. It's actually been a lot of fun. So anyway, that's all I have for you in this video. I'm really looking forward to your comments. If you'd like to see more of this kind of thing, then please let me know. If you'd like to contribute to the creation of these videos, the Patreon link's in the description below. And until my next vid, I will be seeing you in the skies.